Paint splatters on screen revealing a series of images, a woman playing violin, then in a bright pink costume, then in a blind skier penny atop a mountain. The paint drip splatters revealing text in print and braille. Unsightly opinions.
Hi, welcome to Unsightly Opinions. My name's Tamara. Today I am going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial and review on one of my favorite blindness apps, Microsoft Seeing AI. It is one of the most versatile and fully featured free blindness apps I have ever found. I want to go through all of its identification features like handwriting detection, currency detection, text detection, color detection, light detection, and everything in between. So if this is something you're interested in learning a little more about, stay tuned. If you're an iPhone user, Microsoft Seeing AI works brilliantly with VoiceOver. I believe it's also available for Google and Android phones, but please don't quote me on that because I've never tried it out. I believe if you're also not a screen reader user, you can tap the button and it will still identify and speak aloud text, so you don't have to turn on VoiceOver, although I will be using VoiceOver today because that's my preferred method to navigate this phone. Once you download and open the app, it has a wide range of features with a very simple navigation style. At the very top left of the app, it has a menu.
Menu.
If you double tap on that,
Browse photos. Button.
you'll have the photos that Microsoft Seeing AI has
Help.
taken.
Button.
Help.
Feedback. Button.
Feedback.
About. Settings. Button.
Settings.
About. Button.
About. And that's it. If you move all the way back to the top left,
Close. Button.
you can close that menu. I have not used that menu for anything. It works just fine without managing any settings or giving any feedback. For the most part, where you're going to be interacting
Channel. Odyssey.
is near the bottom of the screen. And there's a number of different options that you can select from by either swiping up or down. The first option is short text, which is going to try and recognize text as it sees it. So I'm going to grab something with text here and I'm going to hold it in front of my phone and we'll see what it does.
Sans gluten. Breton.
So I think I have the French side up.
Gluten-free. Breton. Crackers. Breton. Crackers 135 grams.
So holding this item about a foot away from the back-facing camera on my phone, it's identified that this box I'm holding is gluten-free Breton crackers, which is pretty fantastic because I might not have known what specific variety of crackers these were just by holding up the box. To move to the next item in this list, you will have to swipe up.
Document.
In the document setting, it's going to do a couple of different things. I have a manual here with some text, and I'd love to know what this manual says. So all I'm going to do is hold up my camera and move my camera back and forward a little bit until it tells me it's happy with the positioning of my camera. It will automatically take the picture once it recognizes text, and it can identify where the borders of the text are. Let me show you.
Bottom and left edges not visible. Hold steady. Processing.
So let's swipe through and see what it says.
Scan resolved. Important safety.
Important safety.
Instructions.
Instructions.
Do not destroy.
Do not destroy.
When using electrical appliances, follow to reduce the risk of fire. Misuse or failure to follow these warnings and instructions may cause overheating, fire, personal injury and / or property damage. 1. Be sure to read carefully all instructions before using this heated product. 2. Do not use this heated product with an infant, child, incapacitated, or immobile person, paraplegic or quadriplegic, a diabetic, anyone.
It recognized that without any errors. That's fantastic and is a real game changer when you get printed materials. I use this short text and document reader every time I get mail. It's awesome. But let's swipe up again and see what the next section is.
Product.
Under product, it uses a barcode scanner to try and identify whatever product you have. This is particularly useful if you have a lot of cans or a lot of produce items, and it's going to do its best to try and identify it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up this same cracker box, and we're going to see if we can figure out where the barcode is. It's going to tell me when it sees it.
Processing. Der Breton crackers herb and garlic.
I just had to rotate the item slowly in my hand, and as soon as it saw it, it was going to identify, and it did so correctly. These are in fact Breton crackers. We double checked that with the short text option just a minute ago. If we go back to our channel slider and swipe up again,
Person.
we get the person identifier. When it sees a person in frame, it is going to try and identify physical features. This one's kind of fun. With this one, you will have to hit the capture photo button, which is located just above the channel slider. So if I run my finger up from the center of my phone,
Take picture. Button.
you'll find the take picture button.
One face near right edge. One face near center. Less than a meter away.
It's going to tell me where the face is positioned, and I'm just going to take the photo. Let's see what it says I look like.
Processing. Cancel. Button. 33-year-old woman looking neutral.
It's off by about 4 years, but I think it's pretty fun that it's so close to being accurate to actual age. In our next section,
Currency.
it has a currency identifier. From the channel menu, if you swipe left, you can change the currency that it's going to identify. Right now, if I swipe left,
Recognizing Canadian dollars.
it's set to Canadian dollars because I am Canadian, but it works with just about every known currency. It's really fantastic if you're going to travel to a different country and you're not familiar with the currency or what it is. So I'm going to grab some Canadian dollars and show you how that works. Now, Canadian money is typically fairly accessible all on its own because it has full cell braille identifiers. I find the most luck with this feature when I start close to the camera and slowly move the bill away from the back-facing camera. I think I have a $5 bill here. It has a $5 marked in braille, but we're going to see what it says.
$5.
And it's identified it. Let's do another one. I have another bill here. I'm not even going to read the braille. Let's see what this is.
$50.
That's pretty quick. I have a few American dollars here as well, and I'm going to see if it's going to identify this bill for me because I have no idea what kind of bill this is.
Japanese yen. Mex. New Zealand. Nigeria. Pakistan. Singapore. Turkish lira. U.S. dollars.
Double tap to select, and let's see what it says now.
$20.
It's identified this very quickly for me as a $20 bill. If we go back to our channel slider again and we swipe up, our next category is
Scene. Preview.
So it's going to try and identify objects and your surroundings as best as it can. This is where it tends to make some more mistakes, but let's see what it says you look like.
Take picture. Button. Take Processing. Probably a desk with a camera on it.
It's not wrong. There is a camera, but it's on a shelf. It can still be helpful in certain situations to understand what's around you, and the AI gets better all the time. So I'm not going to complain about that feature, although it's not one that I use very often. If we go back to our channel slider again and swipe up, it didn't announce, but it is the color slider. It's going to try and identify colors as best as it can. And I find this one to be not very accurate, but it does the trick in a bind. Right now I'm pointing it at my top.
Gray.
And it's a khaki green.
Gray and black.
If I point it at this pink mug,
gray and black.
It's describing it as gray and black. And it is most certainly not gray and black.
Gray.
This color identifier I find doesn't work particularly well. Until recently, I always used Apploy, which had a free color identifier, which I found was far more accurate. But unfortunately, it needed an update and now says it's no longer supported. So if you have a good app for color identification, let me know because this one is not my favorite. If we swipe up again in our channel, our next category is
Handwriting. Preview.
Handwriting. And I have taken the time to write a few things on this piece of paper. Let's see if the app can decipher my chicken scratch. So I'm going to hold it in front of the back-facing camera. And this one, again, does not tell you when it's in frame, unfortunately. It is in beta right now, so it's not perfect, but we're going to take that photo.
Take picture. Processing. Cancel. Button. This is a test of handwriting.
I still think it's fantastic that it can read printed handwriting. If you are left a handwritten note, it can generally decipher it depending on the neatness of the writing. Again, another really useful feature to have in an accessibility app. And if we swipe up again, we get our final section, which is light. And you're going to notice that it's playing a tone right now. And it plays low tone when there's low light and very high tone when there's high light. So I'm going to face it directly at the softbox behind me here. And you'll see that as I move it away from the light, or I cover the camera with my hand, it gets to a low pitch again. This light identifier is really useful for people who are totally blind and have no light perception to determine what the light level's at, if they've left the lights on, what time of day it is. So again, it's really useful in specific circumstances. It's not one that I think I've ever used because I do have really good light perception. In fact, I'm very photophobic. For what it is, it has a fantastic array of different programs that you can access and different features depending on your level of vision loss. I think this is fantastically useful for people even if they have mild vision loss, if they need to identify print quickly, if they need to read a document and they don't have any way to enlarge it, if you need to identify currency and you're having difficulty. It's really, really useful. Where I think it could use some improvement is in automatically detecting borders on handwriting the same way it does for documents and quick text. I think it would be additionally helpful if it had a little better of a color identifier, so it didn't identify everything as white, black, gray, and then occasionally throw in other colors that may or may not be there. At this point, I would definitely use a different app for color identification if you need help with that, but I use this app almost daily to read so many different things. It's so quick, it's really helpful, and it's definitely one of my favorite go-to apps for blind and low vision accessibility. So let me know your thoughts about Microsoft Seeing AI. Do you have any other favorite accessibility apps? What do you use as a color identifier? I'd love to hear your suggestions and thoughts down below. Is this an app you're wanting to try out and see how it works for yourself? If you made it this far, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun playing around with Microsoft Seeing AI and testing its limitations and capabilities. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, engaging down below, or on any of my other social media platforms, but that's all I have for you today. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.